Well, welcome to the iCargo information video. I'm Graham Ellis and I'm here with two iCargo very senior people who I'm going to get to introduce themselves. And you, sir, are?
My name is Servet Balcioglu. I work for Atos Research and I'm the project coordinator for iCargo.
And you, sir?
Yeah, Jens Schumacher from the University of Applied Science in Vorarlberg in Austria.
So you two gentlemen know all about this project, which is European funded, which you have spent the last 2 days here in Zaragoza telling the European logistics industry about, because we've been at the European conference on international transport logistics and how ICT works with it. So from your point of view, did you feel that you got to a wider audience than you previously got to?
Yes, the number of audiences were quite satisfactory, and our role joining into this conference is just to raise awareness of what we are doing. Okay, that was the main point for us, and we are quite happy that we got our messages to the audience.
That's very good, because I noticed that today on the final day of the conference that there were references to other projects. There's yours, iCargo, Logicom, and several others, which appear to be doing something very similar. Did you see that there was a potential clash in the different projects not actually coming together?
No, actually, your question is better answered by European Commission officials, but I can say a few words, of course, in general. These EC-funded projects, research projects, are granted within a program, okay? So it's quite okay to have overlaps, okay? Because the results needs to work together from different projects, okay? So, so it's okay to have overlaps. It's not okay to prove the same thing over and over again, which we are not doing.
No, so is there a mechanism between the project leads that you understand what the other projects are doing, so that the overlap isn't too great?
Correct, and ECITL is the very correct conference for that.
And of course you were the sponsors of the conference this year.
Yes.
Very successful, 150 attendees I think for days 2 and 3. The first day, the scientific day, very, very intense, lots of high-powered papers being presented, which you, Jens, were leading the opening and moderating on. Your opinion of the standard papers presented?
Well, we are particularly happy this year because, well, you know, this was the second time that we actually had this scientific day, and we had a lot of draft papers. So we were also, we had, I think, around 1/3 that actually couldn't come. So I think we had a very high quality of the papers also this year. So coming not only from the different projects, because I think we have on the one hand obviously the industrial days which kind of deal with the needs of the industry, but we also need to have, let's say, some more forward thinking. And this kind of forward thinking is actually best represented by researchers who are in the field and who have, let's say, some kind of high-flying ideas that are not particular, let's say, realizable in the next 2 or 3 days, next 2 or 3 years, but rather on 10 years down the lane, then we would need these kind of new ideas, and they could actually make the difference for
you. And of course, does any of the information that you get from the papers have an influence, or could have an influence on iCargo, or it's iCargo 2 or
no,
3?
it's more like the other way around. There are a lot of research activities obviously conducted as part of iCargo, and there has been also a lot of iCargo papers from the research side, as well as we are contributing to the industrial side, because as iCargo is an RTD project, so research technology development, means we have obviously in our project also a lot of research, and we have a lot of papers published, not only in the ECITL but also in some other journals and some other conferences. So iCargo is a kind of bridging the gap between the industry and the industrial day, so we are positioned in both.
It was very good. I mean, there were quite a few industry people here, and I've certainly learned quite a bit over the last few days. And I like to think that I'm fairly well in touch, being engaged in the industry and knowing the research that's going on, but there was still information coming out that I hadn't expected. So I think this was a very high quality conference. Unfortunately, I missed the announcement about the 2014 conference. Are you sponsoring the 2014 conference next year?
Yes, we hope so, that we can sponsor also 2014. 2014 will be in Dortmund, and we are working there together with the Fraunhofer ISST and the Fraunhofer IML, and with the efficiency cluster there. And obviously, I mean, there is a lot of kind of synergies between these activities that are there regionally organized, and kind of take this into a bigger network in Europe.
So when we get to Dortmund in 2014, how far do you think that iCargo would have gone towards starting to prove its credentials to industry?
Yeah, next year, this time, we will be in the middle of the implementation of the pilots to prove what we have done. So we will be able to present many of the results, maybe not all, but many of the results.
Yeah, it's interesting because this year we had the demonstrator ready for the ECITL, so we are quite positive that we will most probably have some first results from the pilots that we are implementing right now.
And that, of course, as a midpoint review, will give you the ability to adjust and improve in any areas where you think that work is needed, or to actually say, no, we've got it absolutely right and we don't need to do anymore, which would be a nice situation.
Yes, the reality check, so to say.
Yes.
We have two mechanisms for that within the project. We have one advisory board, which meets yearly, and also at different times than the official reviews, okay? And yes, both mechanisms put us on the right track, so to say, if we are a bit off.
That's good. I mean, it sounds very interesting. It sounds like there are some very big opportunities. It's certainly, from what I was hearing at the iCargo presentations, it has an opportunity to make a difference to the industry. I'm not sure if the industry is yet ready for it, because I don't know if you've considered, you know, the competitiveness of the industry, because this is in a way, is a horizontal collaboration rather than vertical. And so, have you thought about how you persuade effective competitors to share data to allow both of them to win?
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be both industry-driven, I mean logistics or supply chain, and also the clients-driven. Because the idea behind the project is to provide intelligent services, but intelligent green services actually. Okay, so the clients will eventually tend to get greener services. That's,
and exactly. I mean, the idea is that, or the business models that we are kind of following at the moment will actually lead to a win-win situation for all the stakeholders involved in this platform.
Because my big fear, gentlemen, is if the logisticians don't work together, we could find ourselves facing the Commission deciding to legislate, which I think would be the wrong way to go. And so we need to get the message out to as wide an audience as possible that this is an opportunity to green the whole supply chain and not just part of it.
iCargo is an ecosystem. Ecosystem in this case means that you put in a virtual place all your services for your customers, basically, okay? And the idea behind this is within the ecosystem, the services of all stakeholders are very easily discoverable and automated. So I think this will be a good channel to go to market for stakeholders in the logistics industry.
So when you say stakeholders, Who are the stakeholders?
Good. Yeah, I mean, logistics service providers, shippers, definitely. And then you can, you know, I mean, in logistics, IT providers as well. Okay, all of these are actors, many more. So basically, they need, of course, there needs to be a threshold of trust to be overcome, and that will happen with dissemination of the results, basically. That's what we hope for.
And you talk about IT systems. How will someone with a very large legacy system, which, as you know, the big players, the big logistic service providers, the big manufacturers, the big retailers, all have very large, very sophisticated legacy systems.
Yes.
How will they be able to plug into this to make it their supply chain greener?
Yeah, there is a concept called access points. Okay, access points are basically protocol free. Okay, and they are at the same time semantic gateways. By semantic gateways, what we mean is if somebody says glass, okay, the semantic gateway translates that if it's a water glass, if it's a window glass, okay, so everybody understands each other in that way. So legacy systems will continue to be used, and they will be connected to the ecosystem. That's the main idea, actually.
So now we have to wait for the next 12 months while the pilots are starting to work. In the meantime, where will someone go to find out about this project? Have you got a website?
Yes, we do. It's www.i-cargo.eu.
There we are. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the information, and hopefully the people that have switched on to iCargo or the ECITL website will be able to see this presentation, and we'll then be able to get some more information and perhaps take part in industry discussions with you.
Yes, and anybody who's interested to get more information than in the website can call me. My name is Servet Balcioglu, and they can find me or Jens in the website.
Yeah, the next opportunity is obviously ECITL 2014 in Dortmund.
Yes.
Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you
for having a good conference.
Thank you very much.